Warning, incoming game over. Warning, incoming game over.
What is up? What is up? What is up, everybody? Welcome back to Game Over Edmonton. It's your boy, Avry Lewis-McDougall, here as the Edmonton Oilers fall to the Buffalo Sabres 3-2 as for the fifth game in a row. That's right, the fifth game in a row, an Edmonton-Buffalo tilt ends 3-2. I don't know what it is, but these two teams love playing in games that end 3-2 somehow. It is beyond funny, beyond silly, and 1 second, y'all. All right, there we go. But before we get into any more here on Game Over Edmonton, first things first, a word from our friends at Hyperdrive Hockey. Shift into Hyperdrive and get ready to have some fun with your new source for all the biggest stories in hockey, bringing a unique style of broadcasting and commentary with a Quebecois flair. Hyperdrive Hockey combines top-tier hockey analysis, big stories, pop culture, and a fun atmosphere that will drive debate, make you think, and more. Join Max Van Hoot, Daphne Melbouf, and Kevin Larme every Monday and Thursday for your fill of the hockey world. Watch on YouTube on the Game Over Network channel, or subscribe to the podcast on Apple, Spotify, or on Amazon. And head to our website, thegameovernetwork.com, for more. Yes, Game Over Network and Hyperdrive Hockey always have some fun stuff for the masses. Always have some fun stuff. And like always, we'll get into your comments, questions, concerns, whatever you have to deal with, whatever you want to get to here on Game Over Edmonton, as Edmonton's road trip in Buffalo doesn't go to plan. The first game Buffalo and the road trip, of the New York, New Jersey area road trip, doesn't go to plan. Edmonton back at it again on the 13th. So a bit of a break before they continue their road trip in the states of New Jersey and New York. So it'll be interesting to see how they respond in a game in which Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen had a great game in net for Buffalo, shutting down a lot of Edmonton's offense. Solid game in net for him. He was the better goalie tonight in a game in which it's been the theme for a little bit here once again. Stewart's going to have to be better, and Edmonton's finishing just wasn't there. Edmonton had a hard time finding anything but post. They were hitting post, and more post. It was all post all day. What a weird game, and one that saw Edmonton give up 2 goals from Tage Thompson. Josh Norris scored his first point as a Buffalo Sabre. And it was one where Edmonton, the finishing just had to be better. And they were 1 for 4 on the power play. Had their chances. I mean, I love the fact that Evan Bouchard got a power play goal. I love seeing Evan Bouchard on the power play get his first of the season on the man advantage. Can you believe it? That was Evan Bouchard's first power play goal of the season. Bouchard's first. For a guy who usually is great when it comes to scoring on the power play, to know that that was his first was a tad bit surprising. That was something that I think a lot of people were shocked to realize that, hey, that was his first of the year on the man advantage. And, I mean, we know there's more from Bouch coming. We've seen him before be a very dynamic player on the man advantage. So you're going to want to see more of that from him as this season draws to a close. And that goal came from assists on Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl. And how in the world do you not look at Leon Draisaitl and say, yes, that is your MVP, as Draisaitl has another 50 assist campaign and still remains in first place when it comes to the Rocket Richard trophy race. Leon Draisaitl still for me deserves the Hart Trophy. That is his to take. And Darnell Nurse steps up, gets a goal, his first goal since January, and that's what Edmonton needs more of. Scoring from the back end, needing these guys to step up. That's going to be a big thing. 1 second, y'all. My hat's a little off kilter. There we go. You see the hairline briefly. But yes, Edmonton is going to need guys like Darnell stepping up more and more going forward and finding ways to contribute again offensively. And it was a game in which, Jake Wallman is someone who we've seen come into the Edmonton's back end, and he's such a good passer. He's so strong in the puck. That is someone who I know it's early. It's only been 2 games in an Oilers jersey, but Jake Wallman is someone who I think is a major benefit from the trade deadline. I think Wallman is fitting in nicely right now in Edmonton on that back end for the D pairings. And it was a game in which a team like the Buffalo Sabres should not be giving Edmonton headaches. They should not be giving the Oilers trouble. And that's one thing where I'm thinking to myself, oh boy, and this is what Edmonton had trouble recently in games against Buffalo and against Anaheim. These are games in which Edmonton should have no issue getting past both these teams, either on the road or at home. It shouldn't be a struggle to beat the Sabres or the Ducks. And here we go. It's happened. So I'm not concerned overly too much because, yes, this team is still sitting in the top 3 in the Pacific Division, but you don't want to leave points like that on the table. You at least want to get one. You at least want to get a split to close the gap on the Vegas Golden Knights, and they couldn't do that tonight. They couldn't get that done. So that is where I admit you might say it's a little bit concerning in that aspect. And of course, for post-game, we'll bring you content from the Oilers locker room after the 3-2 loss to the Buffalo Sabres. We'll make sure that's ready for you. You say, y'all want to hear what these boys got to say. You want to hear thoughts of what this team has to say afterwards. So there's nothing yet when it comes to post-game content on the Oilers website, but we'll bring that to you soon, probably in our second segment or the third segment. And also, we'll get into your questions and your comments because, hey, overtime's always fun. It's fun when you get some overtime comments and questions. So that's always fun hearing what the people have to say on either Twitter or on Blue Sky. But before we get into all that stuff, we got to get to another ad read, and we got to get to, you know what we got to get to? Patreon. Patreon, y'all. Looking for ways to help an upstart media company employing over 30 young journalists across Canada? If you have a few spare bucks kicking around, then head to our Patreon page at patreon.com/the Game Over Network. There you'll find multiple tiers featuring different rewards and goodies for helping us grow. There's extra access, exclusive looks, behind the scenes, Discord benefits, merchandise discounts, opportunities to give us feedback, and you can join us for special shows live, where you can interact with us as we launch more ways to improve your experience. And hey, if you're not able to spare a few bucks, don't worry, we got you. There's a free tier available, so you aren't left out. You can still have fun on Patreon. And if you really want to help us and make sure we stay strong, make sure you click on the like and subscribe buttons on YouTube, rate us 5 stars on your favorite podcast apps, and make sure you share our work on your social media platform of choice. So that's patreon.com/the Game Over Network for some tantalizing goodies, y'all. And who doesn't like some goodies? Who doesn't like that? Oh, second period time, not third period. Almost jumped a little bit too ahead of ourselves. Almost did that. That would have not been good. So let's tap into the post-game. Yep, we got some post-game audio with Darnell Nurse and Kris Knoblauch. So let's jump into that, y'all, and get their thoughts on the loss to the Sabres. We'll take you there in 1 second. So here is Darnell Nurse after the loss.
Darnell, you guys were chasing this game all night. What do you think contributed to that?
Yeah, they came with a good push, capitalized on their chances, and we didn't. I think, for us there was obviously a level of urgency coming out of the room right off the hop, and I think we had a lot of chances. Our ability to bear down and going back in net, though, isn't at the level I think that usually is.
On top of that, there was a lot of posts that you guys hit tonight as well. How difficult is it to not get frustrated when you know that those opportunities are there?
Yeah, I think it's just sticking to the process of it. I think as a team, obviously, we're at a point in the year where a lot of things are driven by results, but, for us, we want to make sure that we maintain a level head and stay the course with our game. But with that said, we come out on a night like this. I think our expectation is to come out most nights and play our game and find a way to win, and we didn't do enough that time.
What are the details of your game that you want to clean up before Thursday?
I'd say with watching the goals back, thinking back on the goals, it's our ability to defend off the rush. I think, especially when you have teams with a lot of skill, the opportunities that you give off the rush can be very dangerous. I think for us, it's an area we got to clean up, and we probably got away from a little bit over the past little while.
Darnell, you guys were chasing this game all night.
All right, Darnell Nurse after the loss, and off the rush, you saw Edmonton have the issues. We saw that with the goals from Tage Thompson, and here's head coach Kris Knoblauch.
Kris, tonight was a game that you guys were chasing for the entire game. What do you think contributed to that?
Turnovers. I think we controlled most of the play. I think we had a lot of time in the offensive zone. I think we had more chances. But what we didn't do is just the kind of mistakes that we made. And you look at the turnovers, and the turnovers that led to scoring chances off the rush. And I don't think we spent very little time in the defensive zone, and I think we've done a pretty good job on that. But just the puck management and giving chances off the rush was a big story tonight.
For Thursday, how do you go about making sure that those mistakes are cleaned up?
Well, we got a couple days of practice, lots of time for some video, but I don't think any of the video is going to matter. I think we've been talking about it a lot. It's just about guys executing and finding that it's important part of the game. Making a play, making a nice pass, that's important. It's frustrating when some of the guys who aren't contributing offensively are contributing for scoring chances against, which is really hurting us. It's different if you're making those plays and it's leading to offense, and once in a while you get caught. But if you're not creating that offense and you're giving up those chances, that's what's hurting the team.
There were plenty of times that you guys hit the post, so how frustrating is that? Could you feel that kind of deflate the group when there are those grade A chances?
I think we had enough chances to have 4 or 5, maybe 6 goals. You look at the goal post, you see their goaltender made some really big saves. I think offensively, we only scored 2 tonight, which is usually not enough. But the chance that we give up were just self-inflicted.
All right, and that's Oilers head coach Kris Knoblauch. So you hear Knoblauch talk about self-inflicted mistakes. You see this team with Darnell and Knoblauch owning what happened, owning why they didn't get the victory tonight. They're not deflecting. They're not making excuses, which is a good thing. That's a big thing. It's a matter of getting back out there on the ice, taking these couple of days here to look at how can we improve our game over the next couple of days here, because when you're playing teams like New Jersey, the Rangers, the Islanders, hungry teams trying to finish off a strong season or get into a playoff spot, you can slack off against the rest of these teams in the New York region who, like I mentioned right there, are hungry and trying to improve themselves and get better as the calendar goes from March to April. And then you got to put your big boy pants on going forward. So it's going to be a big thing here to clean things up. And again, make sure that you handle plays off the rush. Make sure you are staying strong when it comes to finishing and trying to find ways to get more high danger chances on net. But sometimes you got to tip your hat to a hot goaltender, and you saw that with Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen. Sometimes you just have to tip your hat because he was making the big saves to keep the Sabres in the lead. As you saw, Edmonton had a lot of great chances, but post, or it was a save, a key save, or a strong save in net for the Oilers, for the Sabres, sorry. But I saw a few comments. Some were suggesting, how can the Oilers next year get him out of Buffalo? What's the cost to get him northbound? So I don't know. I think if you're the Sabres, you want a lot out of Edmonton to even really negotiate, because he is one of the few pieces left in that Sabres core that makes watching Sabres hockey fun. It's him, it's Josh Norris, it's Alex Tuck, and it's Tage Thompson. There isn't a lot left there for the Sabres to get people to come to the rink, because it's been over 10 years since this organization saw playoff hockey, which is not good, which is terrible. The Sabres should at least be in a wild card spot. The Sabres should at least one of these years since 2012 been looking at, or 2011, been looking at a playoff spot somehow, and they haven't come close since. They haven't got a wild card spot. They haven't got an 8 seed Eastern Conference. And if you're Terry Pegula and company, that should not be acceptable. But hey, what am I? I'm just a black man with a platform talking hockey right now. So, but the Buffalo Sabres get a win, for confidence, in general, hey, for confidence, that's cool. It was fun. You got to win over one of the top teams in the Western Conference. So for that aspect, that's fun. That's cool. But long term, you want to find some more success if you're the Buffalo Sabres players, fan base, and management going forward. And going forward, we got to get to another ad read here on Game Over Edmonton. Yes. What are we talking now? Well, y'all, people, we're getting into social media. That's right. If you're enjoying this show so far, you want some more of this, right? Well, make sure you follow us and hit the like button on this video. Click subscribe on our channel, and make sure you hit the notification bell so you're alerted when we go live. If you're tapped into the podcast, please give us a 5-star rating or even write us a positive review. And if you really like us, make sure you follow us on social media platforms. You can find us on the Game Over Network, on Blue Sky, at thegameovernetwork.com, on TikTok and Twitter at Game Over NHL, on Instagram, Threads, and LinkedIn at Game Over Network. And you can find me, yours truly, on Twitter at Avry, AVRY, on Instagram at Avery Sports. Those are my main platforms for social media. And you can find us at thegameovernetwork.com, where you can also sign up for our upcoming newsletter, y'all. And I know you like some fresh news. Yes, you do. Third period time here on Game Over Edmonton. I want to get into quickly. I know we talked about, we haven't talked about it yet, but people saw the news where the shocking suspension came out today. Alex Ekblad has been suspended for 20 games for a PED suspension. And wow, I did not see that one coming. And that makes me question how much time is he going to miss in the postseason. It might only be a couple of games, but that's going to be big for Florida, not having him for probably the first 2 games of a playoff series. But that's interesting to see how one of the key cogs of Florida, a man who had a key role in the Panthers beating Edmonton last year in the Cup final, gone for 20 games, rest of the regular season, and for a couple of playoff games. So that's interesting news, because you see so rarely NHL suspensions for PEDs. It almost never happens, or it does happen, but it's not as common compared to the suspensions for PEDs, say in football, baseball, basketball. The testing is different. The system is different, and guys aren't caught as much in hockey. So it sends shockwaves seeing Ekblad popped for 20 games. It's the first PED suspension since Nate Schmidt got popped back in 2018 when he was with the Vegas Golden Knights. So a shocking piece of hockey news that dropped today as well, on top of the Oilers game. And we'll try and see if maybe there's one more bit of post-game content. Maybe there's a McDavid or Draisaitl audio that's come out. Doesn't appear so. So no, it appears just going to be Darnell and Kris. So getting back to the topic at hand here, and this is a game in which Edmonton again, you got great efforts from guys like Bouchard, Nurse, and Connor McDavid. Connor McDavid, that play between the legs early, where he went around his defender. Baby, if Connor McDavid scored that goal, that probably would have been play of the year. Even though he already had a play of the year candidate in the Oilers 5-4 win against Dallas, when he went around Ilya Lyubushkin and made him look silly to beat Jake Ottinger top shelf. Come on. Connor McDavid one-on-one is silly. Even when he doesn't score like it was tonight against Buffalo. His ability to get around a defender one-on-one, or maybe it's a work of art. And I like seeing McDavid stay aggressive again. And you're seeing McDavid now get back to being a risk taker with the puck, where it looked like earlier this season he wasn't taking that many risks. He was playing it safe. And now he's getting back to the McDavid that drives the puck at will and goes to the net hard. That's what Edmonton's going to need going forward. More of that Connor McDavid. More of that, please. More of that. And you know what you need some more of? You know what you need some more of, my dear viewer, my friendly viewer, my listener? Some Game Over merchandise! Yes, you do. Come and get you some. What do you want? A Game Over toque? Game Over hoodie? A sweater? We got you covered, y'all. We got you covered at Game Over Network HQ. What better way to support something you love than by repping it on yourself? Game Over's apparel line has dropped with 3 unique designs. Whether you want to feel nostalgic pull of the retro scare design, want to make a statement with our established design, want to wear your love for goalies proudly with our live and die by the goalie design, or if you just need another coffee and a toque to get you through the winter, we got you covered. Designed by Brady Chalice of Game Over Winnipeg. Use the QR code on stream now and take a look through our apparel store and help us rebuild local sports media in Canada while repping your community. Now, you know what? To wrapping things up here on Game Over, you know what that means? You know what that means? Overtime, y'all! Your questions, your comments, bring it! Let me hear it! Let me hear it! Let me hear what you got to say tonight on Game Over Edmonton. And we got a few comments here, so let's start off with what we have on Twitter. So we got comments on both, or questions, sorry, on both Twitter and Blue Sky. In 1 second, we'll pull those up here. It's always fun. Always fun to get people interactive, get people's thoughts. I know we've got a few games where the comments were a little bit light, but you're talking, you're active. We like seeing that here on the channel. So where is it here? Yes, here we go. So Bouchard Believer at Oilers Enjoyer on Twitter asks where returns from his injury. Now, I think Jake Wallman should be a guy who has potential to float between the first and second pairings of the Oilers. I like seeing him play with Darnell Nurse. It looks fine when he's with Darnell Nurse. He looks like he can elevate Nurse or hide Nurse to want to see Wallman consistently play with Darnell Nurse, help him out, and eat some of those minutes so that Darnell doesn't have to do everything. But I saw the suggestions of Jake Wallman playing with Bouchard. I don't know if I want both my puck movers on the same pairing. You should have multiple puck movers on multiple pairings in large part. So, or offensive guys on different pairings. But and there's more upside offensively to Evan Bouchard than Darnell Nurse. So keep Wallman with Nurse. I want to see him stay there as his main spot going forward as the season ends, as when we get into the postseason going into April, May, and hopefully June. So we'll see. And then on Blue Sky, our friend Maddie MBP Barrett at Blue Sky .social has a question about, do the Oilers have trade envy? Trade envy? I don't know. In what sense? In what trades do you mean for trade envy? Because I think the Oilers right now are content with what they did when it came to Frederick and Max Jones and Wallman. But I do think they would, I'll admit, I think they would have liked to have brought in Mikko Rantanen, but it was said that the assets weren't there. And now you're seeing that the 4 teams that I guess were the true finalists came out. It was Florida, Vegas, Dallas, and Toronto. So it's clear at some point Edmonton probably fell out of that when they realized they couldn't get Rantanen. But it sounded like Mikko Rantanen did want to be an Oiler to an extent. Although how long that feeling was, I'm not sure, but considering that the final 4 teams didn't see Edmonton in there. So maybe it was just a cursory, I wouldn't mind Edmonton, but when you realize they don't have enough to bring you in, it's like, well, maybe not. Even though a contract apparently was discussed, it is, but you never know. Edmonton can still go out and get somebody else this summer. I do think Edmonton finds a way to swing big this summer. I think Edmonton goes into the summer saying, you know what? We got to find a way to load up again, and we're going to try and bring in somebody big. My guess is a Mitch Marner for next season, but we will see. We will see on that in terms of who that big piece is going to be going into 25-26. Anyways, that's all for Game Over Edmonton. We are out of here. The show is back again on the 13th as Edmonton continues their road trip in New York and New Jersey. For Avry Lewis-McDougall and Game Over Network, hope you had a fun evening. You could have been anywhere else in the world, but you chose to be with your boy. I'm touched. And also, make sure you hit like, subscribe, and comment on not just Game Over Edmonton, but tap in to Game Over Toronto, Vancouver, Winnipeg, Calgary, Montreal, and Ottawa. Watch them all, view them all, listen to them all, and enjoy them all. Anyways, I'm out. Later.